Alright, hi everyone. Let's try another pattern, shall we? Go down to pattern focus. Go to, we just did that 8 of diamonds, so we're going to do this one. I don't know how to say it, but it means apples or something similar to apples. Appeltje. Okay, so a couple of things just to mention that you're going to start seeing on the newer patterns that have been added to the Pattern Dash Collections website, a watermark. Unfortunately, they've had to add this watermark because there was some unscrupulous folk who are just outright stealing this entire image and presenting it as their own. So watermarks have happened. Anyway, just to let you know. Sorry about the glare. I'm going to have to work on that. It's dark. The sun is on the other side of the house and I don't have any sun coming in my window. So I had to turn on the overhead light. Anyway, so we're going to start with a line. That's a pencil line. Anytime you see it green, that's a pencil line. On that pencil line, we're going to make these figure eights. All right. Then we can erase the pencil line. And then between the figure eights, we're going to make this peak. Like that. And then step 4. Numbers are off a little. Step 4 looks like it's this one. We're going to make the peak going the other way. So we've got a diamond shape again, similar to the one we just did, except for the diamond shapes are going the other way. And you're going to make a line of those. And then this should be number 5. From the peak of this diamond shape to the peak of that one, we're going to make a curve up and around. And then around this other way. And then in here, we're gonna aura that. For some reason those numbers are missing. And then we're gonna aura inside these little diamond shapes. So that at the end, especially if you color it green and red, you end up with this. Nicole has added some little flux and some muka to her sample, and I think that's really cute. I like it a lot. So, we are going to, but if you color green and red, it really looks like apples. We're going to work on this. Pardon me, I'm going to turn on my light so we get proper color. And I can see better. Look at that. See? The room is awash in a kind of weird orangey glow because the sun is going down. That makes it hard to draw, but I'm going to try anyway. Okay, so let me adjust this light just a little bit better. Okay, are we in focus? I feel like we're not in focus, but maybe it's just my glasses. I still do not have my glasses. Can you guys believe that? Golly, I've been working on these stupid new glasses since the middle of October, and I still don't have them, and it's January. I should have my glasses by now. I am not happy with this eye doctor. I haven't been happy with this eye doctor for a while, but I thought, you know what? It's the same, you know, this doctor knows my eyes. They know what they're doing, and they do most of the time, but maybe they've changed labs where they're getting their glasses from or something. I'm sorry, I'm distracted and not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm talking instead of drawing. Yeah, so I just am not super happy with trying to decide where I want to put my line. I'm going to just kind of do one like that. Something like that. That's where I'm going to put my, I want to make sure I leave myself a border, so I'm going to write it in here, but I'm probably going to erase it. There, now I feel better. But yeah, I think perhaps part of my problem is that my glasses need to be replaced. But I also feel like maybe, I don't know, my camera's feels a little blurry, but could just be me. Okay, so we want to do some figure eights crossing on that line. Doing better with my eights. If you notice, look at, from the last time, I decided to start where they cross rather than leaving a spot up here. That's working better. So I'm doing a loop and then another loop. That's a better shape for me. I seem to have more control over the size and shape of my loops. We're going to go like that. And then from here to here, we're going to do like that. And one like this. And one like this. And then the other way. Super simple. It's got a lot of steps, but they're not hard steps. They're just that loop and this line, and then this one. So from the top of this one to the top of this one, you come up and around, and I'm gonna not go out of my border, so I'm gonna stop it right like that for that one. Just from one to the other, like that. And then turn it. I've got some schmutz there. Sorry about the schmutz. So today was my day off. Went and got a massage. Couldn't have my regular massage therapist. She has cut back her hours and she did not have any openings, so took somebody new that I hadn't had before, and she actually turned out pretty good. So good alternative. Found somebody that I can use when my regular lady is not available. So that's a good thing. So we want to have this little aura right here, so they look like little open, cut open apples with the apple seeds in them. Kind of. The demolition on the retaining wall has finished. They've got all the old wall out. And now they are beginning to do the grading of the new area. Take some dirt out because we want to push the embankment back a little bit, have a little bit more flat yard. And yeah, it's crazy. There's a lot going on back there. It was nice to be able to go and have my massage and be away from all the crazy construction for a little while. There we go. That's it for this pattern. That was easy to do, wasn't it? Really, really simple. And now we can embellish. Or whatever. I think I'm tempted to play here with another row of this, kind of somewhere in here, and different scale. Oh, you know what? I should do it the other way. I should go this way and a different scale. Let me do that. Erase that one and use my pencil and kind of go this way. Okay. Yeah. That's what I'm going to do. And different scale. So I'm going to be really big. And you wouldn't see that one. And maybe one right here. Like that. Right? And then this would be like this. And this would be up here and come down. And then there'd be one in there somewhere. And this would come up like that and would come down. You don't see that. And this would come up and come down. And this one will come up and come that way. Something like that. Excuse me. Where's my water? Okay. And then a big loop like this. I'm going to say these come off the edge like that. Somewhere in here would be the point, so that would come up and around like that, right? Trying to just envision what you would see and what you wouldn't see. You probably wouldn't see most of that, but you might see a little corner of that one. Let me turn it around. That. Like that, and that would come down there. You wouldn't see that. You wouldn't really see that, but this, you'd see that one. Right? Right. Okay. So let's, you know what, I'm gonna need the border. I'm gonna need an actual border. Do I want a brush border? Yeah, I think I want the brush border. Okay. Gotten very quiet outside. They might be done for the day. Of course, it could just be taking another load to the dump or wherever they're taking the dirt. I know that the block wall went to the dump, but the dirt might be ending up in their yard. I mean, in their work, not their backyard, but you know, the grounds where they have their business, because they've not been gone long when they go to take a load of dirt. And their business is pretty nearby. So I'm wondering if they go and dump it in the back of their property, and then they save it for that if they need to refill behind the retaining wall when after they build it, that they will have our dirt. That's a high probability that that's what they're doing. But I can certainly see with the amount of work that's being done why it costs as much as it does. It's not exactly a small endeavor. Let's see. Just trying to envision what would you see and what wouldn't you see as it comes down. Same with this. See that? You're going to see this. Not going to really see that. This one, you'd see parts of it like that. Oh, this needs to come. Like that. Right? Yes. And you would see this ORED like that. And you'd see this ORED like that. That. And that. Okay. Now to decide if I want some really dark elements, which I think I do. Need to decide how I want to embellish this. I think I'm going to color in inside the diamonds, maybe. Let me get the bigger pen. I think that's what I'm going to do. But maybe not all the way to the edge. So I'm going to do it like that. Give it another aura. I didn't tell you guys that over the Christmas holiday, or that week between Christmas and New Year's, I did something I had never done before. I went to something called an escape room. Do you guys know about those? It's becoming a thing here in California. I don't know if it's a thing elsewhere, but you basically are, you and a group of your friends, or it could be a group of strangers if you're going with a, you know, if you book a ticket and you're not with the whole bunch. But for the most part, like we booked the whole room, the whole family did. Oh, and that reminds me, I need to make a note. Note to self. Hey, back. Okay. Note to self. I owe somebody some money because one of our family members booked the whole room for everyone, and then we were to pay him back. And I need to do that. Anyway, what you do is you are brought into a room. This one, the particular one, apparently was very complex, much more elaborate than some of the others. But you're brought into a space. Apparently, the ones that were in the area, there were 3 of them run by the same company. And they were all within like 1 or 2 blocks of each other, and they were all in a downtown area where there was a lot of abandoned property, old hotels, old storefronts that weren't being used, and so they're using it for this, which is very interesting. But you are brought in there and you are given a scenario as to why you are where you are. And then you're left to your own devices to figure out how to get out. And very fun and interesting. I wasn't sure I would like it. Especially based on the one my son had been to prior. He'd been into a pirate-themed one where one of our family members was locked in a cage and everybody else was locked to the walls, like with chains, and then they had to figure out how to get out with cooperative stuff and puzzles and stuff. And I wasn't sure that the locked up part was going to be something that I would be able to handle. But this one didn't have that. This one was a Sherlock Holmes based one, and it had an interactive character who was Sherlock Holmes that came into the room after we got started. And he did not see us unless we asked for a clue. And even then, he didn't interact directly. He pretended like he was speaking to himself, or he was ruminating aloud, which turned out to be part of the initial story that turns out we were dead. And the only time the connection was made between the living and the dead is when we rang the bell for a clue. We were only allowed to ring the bell 3 times. We had 75 minutes, which is longer than normal, because this was a much more complex escape room than most. And we had 6 different rooms. So that was really interesting. First clue led us to moving the piano, and behind the piano we could crawl through the wall, and in the next room was a puzzle that had an object with a magnet in it, and we had to figure out the combination to that using the magnet. And then let's see, then what happened next? And then we opened the side of a crate, and that we crawled under into that and ended up in a 3rd room where there were skeletons chained to the walls, which then reminded me of the pirate thing. But then we ended up finding the clues to a key that opened the door so that we could get out of that room without having to climb under again, which was a really nice touch. And we just kept going back and forth between rooms, and then we figured out that we needed to find these other keys and these other things that opened. Oh no, then there were these like, not playing cards, they were a lot like what are those cards, like the omen cards, you know, where you flip them over, like the psychics use, those kind. There were these cards in the room with some in the room with the skeletons and some in the other room. And we gathered them up, and then there was a clue that Sherlock Holmes had that helped us to figure out in what order they needed to be placed on these little pegs in order to open the door behind a tapestry. And then there was another room in there which had 2 or 3 locks in it, and once we got those open, we had to keep running back and forth from room to room because there were clues from one thing and another. And yeah, it was a whole lot of fun. Let's see, there was that was room number 1, 2, 3, 4. Room number 5 finally got opened by opening a lock that had the clue using a clue in the Bible. We got a Bible. We knew that there was Dracula was going to be involved here. We had a Bible, we were looking for wooden stakes to put into the coffin. I felt really privileged that everybody handed me the Bible to do the verse, to find the proper reference that was on the clue. It was one of the Psalms, Psalms 10, verse 6, I do believe it was. Anyway, we needed that word to solve another puzzle that led us into room number 5, and we finally got the stuff in room number 5 to let us into room number 6. Once we got into room number 6, we had to take a charm back into room number 5 and feed it down this hole to get another thing open so that we could get the last stake, so that we could shove all 3 stakes in the right order into the coffin and we could escape. It was fun. We had a good time. I like this. I like it like that. I think I'm going to make a little bit of dark spot right here. And here like that. Like apple seeds. I like that too. Yeah, it's gotten really, really quiet. I think they're done for the day. Because the last times that they left with a load of dirt, but they were still digging. I don't hear any more digging. So they may be finished for the day. If so, I can go out and take some photos. I did not want to go out there in the construction area. Too dangerous. It's funny, it's a father and his 2 sons that own this company, and yeah, dads and their boys. Dad is yelling at the boy to make sure he's safe when he's cutting down the tree. One boy is yelling at Dad to get out of the way of the bobcat. The other boy is telling Dad that he needs to have his safety glasses on. Dad's yelling back that he wanted to save all the oranges off the tree, because I had written a note that they were welcome to have any oranges that were on the tree. We had picked what we wanted. That poor little tree, it has not given decent fruit in 20 years. And then this year, because we're going to tear it down, it decides it's going to have an abundance of fruit. Never fails, right? But it's still going. So they were welcome to have fruit. Look at that. Ooh, I like the way that looks. I'm going to leave it just like that. I'm going to do a little shading. And I need to write down its name, which I will not, for the life of me, remember. So I will have to decide which way it's living. Really doesn't matter. So I'm going to make it live this way because I have room for the word up here. A-P-P-E-L-T-J-E. Okay, now I can do a little shading. I'm going to have to sharpen my pencil here in a minute. Right in there. Along here. So yeah, that was fun. I think, and my son was right, that the last one he went to had fewer people. This one had 10, it allowed 10 people. I think it was a little crowded. It was almost too many people. I think 6 or 8 would have been a good number. You definitely needed at least that many because there were so many clues in so many different rooms, and you needed to run back and forth and do lots of different things, and it was helpful if the whole group didn't go, because you are timed, so you got to get it done in a timely fashion, so you got to, use your resources. But yeah, I think it sometimes seemed like we were all in one spot and it was a little bit crowded. But other than that, it was a whole heck of a lot of fun, and I think I would definitely do another one. My brother and sister-in-law have taken to doing these fairly regularly. They've done several in Los Angeles, Pomona, some down near San Diego, and then I found out, because they asked, you know, has any of you done an escape room before, and I found out that some of my other family had done them while on vacation in various places, Boston and Chicago, and so it's not a completely new thing for just California. It is across the country, but I don't know if it is something that's done in any other parts of the world. But it's different. Look at how pretty that is. I really like that. I'm gonna actually make this darker here. I want it to really stand out from the one behind. So I'm gonna really make that dark right there. There we go. I'm going to just gray that out even more further. Make it might even smudge the whole shape, this back one, to get it to be a different color than the front one. Just slightly. Not so much that you would really see it, but your eye notices that that puts that one way further back than this side of it. See? So I'm going to do that again on this side. Make it really dark right here. Usually that indicates that this is further, it's a thicker or something. Makes a bigger shadow. Really dark right there. So I would say if you go to one of these escape room things, brush up on your puzzle skills. You're going to need to know things like, we had one that, you know, you had to solve the words, but the words were changed into numbers. So, you know, A was 1, B was 2, so forth and so on, and then the word was spelled out in numbers, and you had to translate it back into letters. So if you've studied up on your cipher, that would help. There was another one where you got the code, the graphic, so the letters were in, you know, shapes, and you had to figure out what the words were based on the shapes. That was a little harder. You know, break it up. Have one person start at the bottom and or one person work on the little words, one person work on the bigger words or something, so that not one person's all doing the same. It's faster if you break it up. Just some clues in case you guys ever do one of these things. It was a whole lot of fun. I like this. Thank you, Nicole, for this. I did not color mine red and green, so it looks a little less like apples. But I really like it. Makes a really cool ribbon tangle. I'm happy with this. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing what we have. You guys have a great day. I'm going to go peek out the window and see if my contractors are done or not. And if there's still some sunlight, I'm going to go take some pictures. I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.